this issue, one issue, men will say, Dede Abahon and saying a lot of people talking about VALCO, and my own senior brother, Captain Smart. Recently, I saw Captain Smart speak on VALCO. We are poised to revive VALCO. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, the land minister, or say, Aban way, it's your mutimu po, say, VALCO did the Obamana say Jinan and Aso. Now, recently, you see a lot happening. And recently, I saw my own senior brother, Captain Smart, make a lot of noise about VALCO, Ayebeton, Ghana, Fuja Padi, Ayebeton, Ama, and Krankra. And in fact, majority of the documents are showing they are legit. Now, normally, assembly hona a bar, the narrative I debe twa sem no so no, and then a man nipa begin say, maybe when somebody is bringing money to invest in VALCO, no, it is bad news. Say yenya butre an chire assembly mu ye, an fan chire Ghana ni na. Say Ghana ni to one, ajebe and say politicians are the same. Of course, 2022 and Ekufuado, all the way from 2017 to 2022. And Ekufuado are buying and I say Obama investor aba be so VALCO mu. Why? Because at the end of the day, say VALCO si won anye dwuma Ghana 1 ye nya so mfaso. 2 ye nya nipa ema VALCO emfo mu dwuma. Enti VALCO should work. Now den Obama VALCO aye dwuma. Now there are people VALCO issue where abana sebio I'm a creative impression, and I'm not blaming Captain Smart because somebody might have briefed him wrongly. Meaning said there are people with special interest in this VALCO issue. Your uncle Fobo ha, interest no, a young chain Ghana interest, and obviously, I understand Captain Smart when he was speaking passionately about VALCO. Why any say a ton VALCO, and he say any investor about VALCO because we all want to protect. Ghana property say Ghana Japadi nyina at the point enya Ghana for the no, we all want to do what make sure say adebe Ghana the no aka Ghana, but the only way adebe Ghana the na Ghana Japadi no yebetuma sustain no sika enema no yetumi sustain without money yentumi sustain anything Ghana dia inti se kasa anase nipa bi briefia. We need to sometimes sit back and ask ourselves, say, Nipana ehina o free ba. The interest in saying, let me show you this. This man, he is the CEO of VALCO. The Robert Makila Sabriam. Now, this man, I am telling you, and I'm going to tell you on authority. VALCO in some his interests, the kind of things they are getting from VALCO. VALCO na esiwana yesi enye juma no. There are some people who are making millions out of VALCO na yesi ako bankrupt no. There are some people who are still making money out of VALCO because you see, the moment a VALCO beko full operational, and I say 100% operational. Right now, VALCO is working just 20%. Open the capacity now, only 20% in a year, Juma. And the question is, why should VALCO be working 20%? Abrank a bit my year, Juma 100%, the capacity. The reason is that this CEO, honest some people have some interest to be. They are doing everything possible to make sure VALCO ain't any strategic investor. Now let me tell you for a fact, VALCO ain't $750 million before VALCO can work 100%. Etimi afa nipa to its capacity. Etimi aye effective. Etimi raise sika. Etimi provide and I say etimi supply the local market. VALCO will need $750 million. Now the question here is, and I understand Captain Smart, he's passionate, and the other people are. This man basically is selling some message out there. The real picture, no, he doesn't want to sell it to Ghanaians. VALCO has $750 million. How are we going to get $750 million to revive VALCO? The CEO of the company has not been able to tell us how he will be able to raise $750 million. And I'm telling you on record, the government of Ghana does not have $750 million sitting there to pump into VALCO. Abani nibi. So how are we going to get Valco to work? Because Valco needs to work. So Valco ye juma 100% full capacity. Valco ya befa Ghana for juma anameboa. Upia brewa baby oko wato de se fa. All that we need is Valco should work and Ghanaians are supposed to be employed. Now, if you're a CEO of Valco, now till now, how you can raise $750 million to put Valco to work at its full capacity, then you don't deserve to be the CEO. You need to be sacked. Inti sanka abrochia anka at this point nka CEO nka pamono. You know why? Your job as a CEO is to make sure say Valco the amount salary every month. Your amount incentives, no. When to your Valco aye juma ma yemfaso 100%. So when to me anya sa now CEO now we no emfaso ni so I was see a pamon. Now you ask yourself, amount for the day and a Valco, ye beton Valco, yedia, yes. Your shares swum, yes. Na Valco nankasano, e free hine bedru ha. You see, sometimes let's put our personal issues aside. Let's put a BBI a friend. Maybe we become so emotional about matters. Majority of the time, let's look at the issue critically. 2026 even America, Obaha, there are companies that want European partners. There are companies in America are almost Chinese partners. There are companies in China, they want American partners. There are companies in Europe, they want Asian partners. So you cannot build your nation in isolation. You just have to be strategic about who invests in your nation and how much you give them or how much access you give them. Because we are in an era, you cannot put your hand in your pocket and say, may $750 million. Looking at the risk involved, So because me babe say jumana, you look at the risk and say, okay, what could this chrome? Masa see. So take this risk now. Why not? Because how many years na Valco esuo? How many people na Valco efo juma? Now look at this. The background of Valco. Ya nipa bebre Ghana. Ya ka bibia to trim. Valco sika oho ya beton ama obi. We need to sometimes sit back. They yebu questions. And then they be say, okay, say the Valco ya the investors beka Valco mu a na so mdo sika bishima ebe boye anase emboye. These are the simple questions we need to be asking. And now about, hey, asembeni, and away you say, yeah, no, end to me, chichiremaino. Me say America, America, no, strategic partners. China, they are calling for strategic partners. Europe, go there and see. We are not better than these countries. We are living in a global world whereby you cannot live in isolation. You cannot run an economy in isolation. You still need people who are ready to commit to also come in and work with you. Because one, the government wants to create job opportunities for its people. It's in Valco 100% full capacity. So why should we try to make it look like say Valco dancing na obi betam dancing they are called? No. That is why we have people who think through matters, draw plan, have MOUs, sign contracts. Contracts are for these kind of things. So I will sign a contract now. Your country should be in your interest. And someone sign a contract. But the moment you sounded to say, Valco is no, they say Valco is another 10 years. Who is going to bring $750 million? Who? But your young man be a core tech. Your young man be a opese or ye juma or Ghana ha or what skill no? Who is going to provide the $750 million? Who? Now let's go back a little bit. Now you check it. Valco nankasa ain't the free na bedruha. See a TSC ye be say okay. At this point, Ghana as a country, your shares of Valco no saying Ghana as a nation, say my shares ni biko baby a emphasis send ye benya ho. These are things we need to look at. Now look, a casual look at Valco history buttresses the case for equity partnership as against sole government ownership. The data shows that Valco was a profit-making company when its ownership or management was composed of private sector only or by private sector and government. Below is a brief into Valco nankasankasana a yankran bi netse enya Ghana dia from beginning. Omo mo chechire Valco no na mo enya ban. Into Valco na hunu sa no eye nipa bi dom di omusika chechire Valco. Enya Ghana ban na sorry am ka say omo chechire Valco. Valco no ye you'll be ankran bi sika nom de ye at a point and a be Ghana dia yes we nya shares wom enti mema obi an create impression bi to say ye na tie sika esi valco and a valco no ye na na see ye and ye ntumi mo bi invest e ye nipa bi na de omu sika be see ye and a saa nipa no at a point no omo entumi de manage and Ghana so ye den yes so ye be ye den ye be nya shares wom enti let nobody make it look like say valco no ye na naja padie bi na ye na naja guo na ye na dabi. There's a reason, and we always have to go back, take it from the back. When we take it from the back, we will understand. All right, Mrs. We will understand where the issue is coming from. The CEO on some group will be almost interested to Valco. As we speak today, they are making millions from Valco. Almost blocking the strategic partnership of Valco. That is what is going on. Now, in 1964, all the way to 2003 marks the strategic partnership era. Valco was set up as a strategic partnership. That is Kaiser. That company, a friend Kaiser, no more 90% shares or Valco. And there were another company, a friend Reynolds, or you can also call them Aqua. They also had 10%. Internet, two private entities are Nana Valco Yomudia. A company called Kaiser and a company called Aqua. Omumienu and another Valco Yomudia. Nanya Ghana for dia. We did not own a share in Valco. And now say the two trim. Internet and Kofobi dia. Now, along the way, and it operated with consistent profitability. Government of Ghana had no shares in Valco. It was 100% private sector owned. In terms of being television, can you say, and a comment Kumaya Valco, and a Valco, and any see a in human Kobe private companies been a see Valco near any shares womb. Now, what happened along the way? And remember, I'm going to see Valco way. Some person were so. I didn't think I say almost Koromun to Valco. But at the end of the day, technically, even though private investors they be see, you know, and Sabe Ghana dia, so and so that is one advantage. Say Oko into a strategic partnership. These are the things you look out for before you go into partnership. At the end of they call into partnership, no. At the end of the day, Ebeka ukrum, dia. That is the first thing you look at. So being to mean to fan dia, you will still benefit from it. Now, 2003 to 2008, the era of traditional decline. Now, transitional decline. Now, from 2003 to 2008, a hot and a problem started to say AC. This is what it says. Following Kaiser going into receivership, the government of Ghana, that's GOG, acquired 90% ownership. Into Kaiser for no more 90%, you know, at a point, I mean, imagine say 90%, you know, they don't want to own it again. Into Ghana government, AGA. Into technically, at a point from 2003 to 2008, you know, Valco ebe yedia. 90% technically ebe yedia. Now, after this acquisition, Valco took a nosedive and started recording a sharp decline in gains characterized by a series of plant shutdowns, such that presently there is only one fully functional cell out of the 6. Valco has 6 plants in the year. 2008, the government of Ghana ebenya 90% control over Valco no, and Valco started say egu. Abaya buying there. Now, unim je send Ghana buying your managing yoma. Yet ha majority of abuying ejapade nyina yeni Ghana for yede share yensa ni asay no. In the time na Valco eye adwuma 2003 to 2008 ebe share Ghana for nsa yebe oni no fully no. Valco started taking a nosedive. Omusika sem started say aban nipa yafa omo se omunko ye dwuma ho no and omo started say omu di Valco sika. They didn't care because I aban adwuma. Enti Ghana be solve Valco no afei na Valco sika sem nyina say. Adentina, it is important to say edum rebia or some private sector no ebe part of a government investment. That is the supervision part of it. Anytime a buying ejuma the private sector a partner a buying ejuma na, the majority of time no sa ejuma ne jina. Ni nyina ne say sa private entity no ana investor na ordinary sika be sha ba ejuma no on person sika be she into ofine ni. The moment VALCO became ours, 90% and started to say egu, all because there was no supervision, all because government workers did not care, all because Ghana buying Abba Echo Ninano, they thought to say, yeah, two obino kotinawa, it is about the money, it is not about the sustainability of VALCO. Until Uchekia, VALCO started declining, all because there was no private sector involvement. The private sector or the strategic partners, they come with a experience, they come with supervision, they come with interest because almost person almost profit. So they will pay attention to detail and they will protect the facility. Now, when you move forward, make sure the background. Send a baby and then baby about Quadruno. You have $750 million. Who is going to provide the $750 million? MPP and NDC. Bank Bank. Why not just alone? $750 million. Do you have it? Now, when you move forward, 2008 to 2024 is the era of 100% government of Ghana ownership. Now, this is what happened. Government of Ghana became the sole shareholder of all shares in VALCO. Unfortunately, since government of Ghana assumed full control of VALCO, VALCO has not recorded profits for the past 15 years. VALCO has since worked at a severely limited 20% capacity, resulting in persistent year-on-year loss with a debt portfolio of over $200 million. From 2008 to 2024, VALCO nyejuma enya infaswada. And so CEO bienu be demonstration say into aneka. But every day, government of Ghana, VALCO workers demonstrating say omo service, omo condition ni nyina nyejuma. Why is it say say CEO be demonstration? But it is always the worker down there because those up there, the CEO and his group, they are making money. But the workers down there, they don't care. Omo na omo bre. Inti siyaka se ya ma strategic partner bape na CEO we no. Wabese some of the media they chi any workers they say munya demonstration. Ya beton VALCO. At the end of the day, you the CEO should be coming to tell us to say you have been able to raise $750 million. But so what to me raises $750 million. Now the government is not ready to cough $750 million. And strategic partners are willing to bring down money. Why do you stand up and say you don't want to agree? Why do you say you don't want to agree? I'm waiting for somebody to say more $750 million that or maybe some vacuum me a Ghana ni into any strategic investor biamba and then we will give you that $750 million opportunity. But so beyond for scanning buyer, now himself VALCO is making losses. For 15 years, VALCO has not made any profit. For 15 years, VALCO cannot expand its production. For 15 years, VALCO is working 20% in its capacity. For 15 years, VALCO is not been able to employ Ghanaians. Now, sir, Obi Ba as a strategic partner to pump $750 million. You are saying, say, Ghana buying air ton a VALCO. Now, nipa na this $750 million beshamuno. Ayo papa nuya, and our papa sika, kabaka sama profit. They are coming in because they also want to make profits. Senka uwo sikani biya, ada na wafanya VALCO, amfa nipa 10,000 juma. You don't have the money. So if somebody has the money, they need to come in, they need to make profits, the same as you also making profits. So that is where you have the memorandum of understanding. That is where what we call contract comes in. It is upon you, the government of the day, to sit and draft a contract that will benefit your nation. So somebody coming to invest, partner, VALCO, to revive VALCO, no, it is nothing bad. Let me tell me, Captain Smart, I think say you are getting it wrong. I think say you are doing more disservice to Ghanaians because there are so many young people who want to work at VALCO. VALCO can employ over 2,000-3,000 people. Why is VALCO not employing? Because VALCO has been making losses over and over the years. VALCO is not making profit. The government does not have $750 million. Should we sit for VALCO to rot? No, something needs to be done. Now, in 2022, VALCO workers protest against poor working condition in Tema, but management resolves to end impasse. The question is, why were the workers demonstrating? Because the company is flopping. The company is making losses because VALCO is not making any profit. 2022, what did the government do? And we all know, say, the NPP government started the process of making sure a strategic investor comes to help revive VALCO. So this is nothing complicated. Nipebi, because of menokasa nadwi. Valco na eye juma 20% its capacity. No, there are some people who are making 18% out of the 20%. They are making money and they are using a CEO to do that. And the CEO any sanko fobino try say Valco yen to be my strategic partner emba. But I'll give this to the Kufuor government. At least some reasonable people in the minority then and the majority then came together to say we need a partner because government does not have $750 million. Tomorrow, and on Monday, me per se me no better radio so TV so say $750 million da. Nobody is able to raise that money. But there's somebody who has it. There's a company that's ready. Why are we not giving it the opportunity? Because Valco no yen to two Vanco. At the end of the day, so be the $750 million, you don't expect the person to go home with nothing. The person needs to make money. And you also need to make money. It's up to your attorney general, the people to sit to draft the contract. You know, it is for them to make sure the contract benefits you. So strategic partnership is not bad. Captain, it is not bad. It is Nipebina. Yeah? Still 2022. This is what happened at Valco. Team, stay with me. Thank you, Mrs. 2022. Valco shut down after workers' protest. They shut it down. 6 and Obeka say Anke Akosoma. Obeka say 6 plants in a year Juma and 1 penny year Juma. One. Why should we have Valco working out plant tobacco penny Juma and there's a CEO who is driving a V8, who is taking all the incentives, who is not putting his head together to make Valco a profitable institution? Why is he still there as a CEO? Because the money is Valco making to him, he's making a lot of money and he wouldn't want any because the moment strategic partners come in, sign your mana or your own to me yet. On any group now, they are cutting deals behind the scenes because I'm creating impression to a team say Valco no egu omoboa, they are making money. There are some few people at Valco, the CEO and his group, they are making money. And I don't want to say Obiakoma Captain Smart Sika, and I say, but Captain Smart has been briefed wrongly. There are some people, they have cooked the story in such a way, they'll make you think, say, oh, patriotism, fight for Ghana's factory. No, they are creating that impression because the moment you do that and Valco stays in its state, the state they are in, some people make so much money. They don't want the private investors to come in. Oh, say Abrofono kwa na mde Valco Maya, you 90% shares and Valco started to say because it was fully owned by the government. People did not care. The people we gave Valco to manage, they were making their money. They didn't care how Valco would be sustainable. That is why we need a strategic investor who will come in, follow their money. We get our cut, they get their cut. Valco exists, Ghanaians get job, and we are good. As Captain showed you, Endra, and not 2 days ago, he was right. All the documents he put on the screen was right. MOU was signed, and the MOU was between the memorandum of understanding that was between Arise Integrated and Industrial Platform Limited. That is the strategic investor. Omudine Arise Integrated Industrial Platforms. Omo ena omo pese omo be investi omusika. Ena omone Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation and TDC. Remember, TDC almost as in a Valco siso. Ena your Valco. And I say your dear friend Giatec. Now Giadec. Now Giadec, Giadec was a Giadec. What's the name? I always get it wrong. Giadec. Basically, Giadec for Omno Mujinema Ghana buying. So when there's any negotiations for Valco, Ghana, you the 2 minama Giadec for so Omunjinem, no mu make sure say yes, your interest is paramount. Inti TDC assassin Valco sister TDC assassin TDC Ghana dia inti technically assassin dia. And Giadec make sure say Valco as we speak now 20% shares Ghana so dia into TDC any Giadec for shares in the Boma 30% for the government of Ghana. Say strategic investor take 70%. The question here is, what are we going to benefit from this partnership? Yabafa Ghana Fwejuma. Is Ghana going to also get money? At the end of the day, I don't think we are going to lose Valco to anybody else. At the end of the day, nobody is going to take Valco away. Valco is going to produce to feed the Ghanaian industries. So why are we now saying, because Obi the $750 million, my lucky crowd, because me I call Say me $750 million, somebody Bishop Valco, I will make sure I have 97%. There are risks involved. I'll bet my pump is $750 million, you know, and at the point, you know, Obe will say, on person bet twaso, on an aboka, on an osoko. If I'm pumping $750 million in Valco, you don't expect me to be asking for less than 70%. Because in 15 years, Valco making profit biya, Valco making revenue biya, Valco has been making losses, Valco new workers biya. For Valco to get 30%, 70%, you know, at the $750 million bar. What do we lose here? What do we lose here? These are the documents when they signed an MOU. Now, there's something interesting. This matter was taken to cabinet in 2022. And in cabinet, you know, we all saw about cabinet. Cabinet actually looked at it. In fact, so we read the document now. Discussion across cabinet now. Mami read adeki tuebu hanchiro. What actually transpired in cabinet. Now, that cabinet conversation, this is what happened. And make sure the reason why in here, this strategic partner, Urban Krano, you will urge your partner. So now, when you read 1.1.7, according to the deputy minister, Giadek and Valco had assessed the financing of the retrofitting project and estimated it at 600 million United States dollars, excluding working capital requirement, which had also been estimated separately at 150 million United States dollars. The deputy minister suggested that the retrofitting would be done in two phases. Phase 1, which had been scheduled to commence in July 2023, will involve the upgrading of 3 of the 54-year-old P69 potlines to D18 plus cell technology at an estimated cost of 350 million United States dollars. Implementation of this phase would enable the smelter operate above 60% of capacity and start earning marginal profits of 7.6% with a return of equity of 3.6% from 2025. Phase 2 will commence by December 2025. It would involve the upgrading of the 2 currently operating P69 potlines to the new D18 plus cell technology at an estimated cost of 250 million United States dollars. This would complete the retrofitting by 2028, where profitability will stabilize at 11.4% annum and will be 9% per annum. Now, basically, what it at cabinet, omotiasia say yenya investor na say investors ne ba Valco eye omo dey plant eye adwuma na and the one pen aka eye 6 no. Sa plant ni nyina in phase 1. After they are done with phase 1 and phase 2, by 2028, I was saying Valco to its full capacity. We are talking about $350 million, $250 million. These are monies we don't have. As much as we love Ghana, sometimes we need to allow investors to come in to help us build our institutions. We cannot just say, Valco, questions. Let's ask ourselves the questions. And now we are like, okay, now, my partner Bema. Ghana for send for wajuma partner bema Valco ye juma sebi o Valco onanenda dia na se pen na dia e dia ye juma wanamu industry ben ye talk the real estate industry, the shipping industry, when we na benya access to e dia nyoma Valco be wajuma, the government, the country is going to make money, job is going to spread. We are talking about Valco working. It is not about who is coming to invest, it's about Valco working. When Valco works, Ghanaian gets a job to do, and that's the priority we need to be looking at here. We don't have the money to run Valco. You need $750 million. Cabinet and the Kufuado, they approved it. So I don't know why we are still having this conversation. In 2023, Cabinet approved this, and that is the document there. And I know Captain Smart showed it to all of you. So why are we angry? We are angry because Obida didn't see Kabishim. Captain, we are angry. Do we have the money? They handed Valco to us in 2008. If it was saying the question here is, do we have $750 million? Cabinet basically agreed to say I was my strategic partner Eba. So why are we not allowing the partner to bring the $750 million and get VALCO to work? And never say VALCO it's now near 3 months one a pro now for a GNSM. No. Now you say factories are coming Kumajan or Ghana and can they a strategic partner so munya disika beshim tomato factory their factory and can then kewa factories and Kumaja says Kwame Nkrumah factory so ja Ghana Sankenya partners say omu disika beshim and anke so omunya mu for disika beshim omu for 70% for 30% and can Ghana for munya juma. It is about the long-term plan, the sustainability of the production, sustainability of the facility. The moment the facility is sustainable, we will get people working. Along the way, we will tweak the contract. At the point, the whole thing will become ours. That is what you do. Into the argument, say, you have a ton VALCO, mumi enjai. And my investors is we need to look at the documents, look at the facts, look at the long-term plan, look at what we will get. Do we have $750 million sitting? We don't have it. So are we supposed to allow VALCO to burn? Are we supposed to allow VALCO say enkoshi? We don't have 750 million. I will urge the government to invite these people, make sure within this month they sign this contract. We need people to go to work. We need to give people jobs. We need to get people sustainable jobs. We cannot sit here and be arguing and criticizing without any results. The CEO of VALCO is not helping. On one case, I'll be a CEO, no, the Ben and the pay akamuda, and so on to me raising $750 million. He is supposed to be out there championing the signing of this contract. Why is he behind the scenes pulling a string to make sure VALCO never signs this contract? Because they are making crazy money. Mumaya making sure say within this man, the government, the lands minister, let us revive VALCO. We need a strategic partner. They need to come. That in conformity demonstration, you have a ton VALCO, omobwa, nipe bi na shechire. Menoka say your oncophobia VALCO ye juma personally to make money. We don't get a dime from it. 20% na ye juma. Your oncophobia use VALCO abe your monkasa personal property omudi make sika omu na omudi share some demonstration. We as a nation we need partners who will come join with us, open jobs for our people to get jobs to do. It's captain, with all due respect, the guys who are feeding you the information, they are coming from an angle where some they are patriotic. No. They are strategically using you. They are lying. They are giving you information that is not right. Let us give these investors the opportunity to bring in the money, $750 million, not small money. Obianu this $750 million, let us give them the opportunity, let us give them the chance for them to invest. Ghanaians will get jobs to do at VALCO.